Hello guys, and we have some very important updates from the front lines in Ukraine and the front lines in Russia. Yes, that is a great military achievement of 2025. We have really long front lines in Russia. And sometimes deep inside the area, other important military facilities explode, like one of the largest power stations in Kostroma last night, after a visit of the numerous Ukrainian drones, beautifully commented with lots of bad words by the ordinary population of Russia that so much wanted this war. Another very important object that was demilitarized last night is a huge arsenal of Shahed drones in Donetsk airport. Yes, that famous Donetsk airport that stood bravely and really long against the Russian invaders back in 2014 and 2025. So let's discuss how we keep demilitarizing Russia while Putin is becoming more and more stressed. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the defeat and demilitarization of Russia that has already started, subscribe and please share these videos to spread the truth. Don't listen to Lavrov, don't listen to Medvedev, I'm sure you understand why. So let's begin with a very important Ukrainian victory, and that is the destruction of a huge arsenal of Russian Shahed drones that they actually name Herань. But they take them from Iran, change the labels to pretend that this is a Russian weapon and store them. What is beautiful, this operation took some time. Now many Ukrainian military share, they observed, thank God satellite images exist, they observed how the location around that airport kept growing with the storages of drones. And it took a couple of months to carefully observe, and when it was fully packed, thousands people of evil instruments of war and terror were destroyed with drones, making this planet safer and, most importantly, seriously slowing down any efforts of the Russian invaders near Pokrovsk, because that is all located on the same line. So we managed to destroy a huge arsenal of weapons and drones near Pokrovsk in Donetsk region on the location of Donetsk airport. There are lots of very heartbreaking emotional stories about Donetsk airport because, first of all, that's the symbol of success in Ukraine, how our regions were developing. They hosted Euro 2012 together with Poland. A new airport was built. Donetsk was a rich industrial city, very popular, we may say luxurious and modern, with one of the best airports perhaps in the Eastern Europe. And when Ruski Mir comes, it destroys everything. By the way, that's one of the reasons why many people who were neutral about Russia did not know how they could act in case of invasion now clearly fight against this Ruski Mir, because they see what it brings: destruction, no water, no electricity, all people either captured and tortured or totally lost without any access to normal medical help, to normal education. And that Donetsk airport was one of the very important fortresses controlled by very brave Ukrainian people for long days. There are lots of movies, documentaries speaking about that. You can actually Google Donetsk airport and it will tell you a lot. So it's pretty symbolic that after we lost control over the airport, after that part was temporarily occupied by the invaders, and they decided to turn it into a platform of launching drones and storing drones, because they were using that airport to launch drones and destroy Ukrainian hospitals and schools, and they were also storing these drones nearby. And these Russian soldiers are desperate. They are super angry because it is just like a perfect timing. The moment it was full of everything, it exploded, and they still cannot take the fire under control. Plus, the most important result is that any efforts to move deeper into Ukraine in that direction will be seriously disrupted. because they literally do not have weapons, do not have drones that they usually use to clear the territory. Because one more thing that many people forget, Russia does not invade cities, villages. Russia literally destroys everything and then moves like 100 meters, sacrificing 100 of their soldiers. That is insane. Putin is mad, and more people around him understand that, including oligarchs. A beautiful video on Anna Danilchuk channel that you must watch if you haven't. And we continue to another important location that was how do you say it in the Russian way, that was negatively strengthened by Ukrainian drones that conducted successful landing, and the debris of drones totally erased a number of very big sections inside Kostroma Power Station. It is located, a bit of the Russian geography lessons, where we discover more about the destructions inside Russia of their military facilities, arsenals. Subscribe, like, share to witness more of such Russian geography lessons. And that is the city Volgorechensk. I have a very, very bad handwriting, for you to know, like, because, you know, sometimes those people who Russia supporters come and tell that I'm reading. I never read, but I do have a plan of the things that I want to tell you, and you can tell that my handwriting is very, very special. By the way, in Ukraine, we have the saying that genius people always write in a very bad manner. Like, if you have a bad handwriting, you must be clever. Do you have something similar? Let me know in the comments below, or that is just my excuse. Anyway, in that Volgorechensk, we destroyed Kostroma Power Station, seriously, and they don't know how to protect it in the future, because this is one of Russia's largest power stations. I know it may sound not tremendous, but Russia is very big. There are lots of power stations, and this one produces more than 3% of energy in general. So that's a lot, actually. And again, Ukrainian drones were pretty patient to wait until they finished the renovation of that power station, to visit it and to land with fireworks. Again, thumbs up, located 730 kilometers from the Ukrainian border, but I'm sure that's not something that can surprise anyone. There are strikes almost 2,000 kilometers deep inside Russia, and that is without long-range drones. Imagine what we be able to do with long-range missiles, either Tomahawks, Taurus, or Flamingos, or some other, because I'm sure we have a lot of plans, and not just plans. So anyway, what seems interesting, that this Kostroma Power Station is important for the energy supply of Moscow, and in particular military facilities, but also capital itself. And you know that for Putin, any problems in Moscow, any problems in St. Petersburg are his great fear, because these are the only cities that he considers normal, and his friends oligarchs live there, mafia, various decision makers, like the life in Russia, somewhere in Tula, in Omsk, in Volgograd, is very different from life in Moscow and St. Petersburg. And when they have electricity outages near Moscow, and they've experienced that already, they are super afraid, because they already feel this war. They have air raid sirens, they hear explosions, see smoke coming from legitimate targets. They experience cancelled flights, they cannot find fuel, they know that inflation is eating their salaries and prices keep rising, and there are no volunteers to join Putin's army. By the way, they decided to change the conscription system, and usually they had autumn and spring, and now Putin allowed all year-round conscription. Do you think that's the sign of success? No. Russia is the weakest ever, and now is the time to defeat the evil. Ukraine is ready to do the job, and I know you are ready to support us. If you want to become Ukrainian ambassadors, do check our merch shop. The link is in the description. There are lots of good products that work well as reminders, conversation starters about Ukraine, and simply look stylish. Also follow me on Instagram. Our community is growing really quickly there. On X, Blue Sky, Threads, and of course, Discord. Thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channels, because there is one more community that you must join, Anna Danilchuk. There we talk longer, but not that often, not to overload you with my presence. Thank you so much for being friends of mine, friends of Ukraine. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!